And you can just forward it onto. I think we're live. Yeah, we are live on all
Yeah.
three. We're live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Hey, guys, welcome. We are live. I'm here with my brother Christian. Oh, something I'm not even worried about that. Instagram is, we got to fix that somehow, but doesn't matter. I'm trying to, as we're coming on, I'm trying to find the Côte d'Ivoire flag. Parce que mon frère, il est du Côte d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast for
Yes.
the people who want to call it Ivory Coast. I can't find it. Anyway, we'll
It's
find your flag.
orange. It's
You got
orange,
all my, huh?
orange, white, and green.
Oh yeah, orange, white, and green. I don't think I have it here because I was looking through these the other day. So
It's
these
okay.
are flags from different countries I have here, folks, that
It's okay.
I'm trying to put up every time I have a guest from that particular part of Africa. Eswatini, Chad. Man, I don't have Cote d'Ivoire.
It's okay.
Well, I need to
But
get it though. I need to get
but
it.
I'm here. I'm here. I
But you're here.
represent.
But that's not the flag is not the key thing that we're here to discuss avec mon frère Christian. Et comme on a parlé avant, nous allons faire franglais, French, English.
Yeah, but
Um, those are French and English are the two major languages that are spoken on the continent, but there's Portuguese and Spanish as well. But most of Africa was colonized by the French and by the English. And so, and even within the African think tank, we're getting more French speakers who are joining our movement, and people are watching around the world. And so, we want to acknowledge what the African think tank is doing in Africa, especially with the first African think tank event that happened in Ghana. So that word has gotten out, and so people, the Ghanaians or Ghanaians, are watching what we're doing and feel part of the movement. And as we expand, also in Africa, we have to be very aware of the different cultures and languages that are being shared. So, again, welcome everybody to another episode of TATT Talks. I am once again so joyful to be doing this work that has been given to me through the leadership of the African think tank. Gives me an opportunity to do what I do best, is to converse with people at the levels they are, the things they have to contribute at the grassroots level, whatever their talents and skills that God has given them, and that they bring to the work for the African think tank, but for themselves, the families, the continent, and whatever movement they're pursuing. So I have my brother Christian. Guys, we are, as we're talking, please ask questions. I can bring up the questions. The subject matter is very important because what Christian will be sharing really impacts his passion for Africa in the area of real estate and his long experience. And he's going to share that. And so if you have questions, this is a good time to do it and to ask those questions, and then we can always follow up later. So I will now hand it over to you. Soyez le bienvenu, mon frère Christian,
merci.
sur TATT Talks. Vous êtes à Arizona, si je ne me trompe
Yes.
pas.
Yes. On a.
Avant, vous étiez ici à Dallas. Je ne sais pas, tu as fait quoi? 4 ans, je ne sais pas.
I we are in August, so I moved to Arizona like a month ago, last August.
Yeah.
So it's months now that I
Okay.
moved from
But you were
Dallas
in Dallas for a little bit. For how long were you
for
here?
4 years.
4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So we didn't lose you to Arizona, but we still have you here, and you're still a part of the movement of the African think tank. So I'm going to jump right into it.
Absolutely.
Introduce yourself. Let's start first with like with all my guests. Tell us about you and your life, where you're from, where you grew up, born, things you enjoyed, things you miss. Where did it all start?
Okay. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you for having me, Mr. Ruben. And I wanted to say thank you and congratulate you on what you're doing, because this needs dedication, consistency, and I can see that you are a passionate person. When you say yes to something, you are into it. And I want to say thank you for that, for the movement of African Think Tank and the director of African Think Tank, I would say Texas, Dallas,
Yeah.
and I really, really appreciate all the great work you're doing.
Mm.
That being said, my name is Christian Sery. In French, we say Christian Sery. Yeah, Christian Sery. Born in Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire, and that's where I was born. And then my adult life, the part of my adult life, started in France, in Paris. So born in Ivory Coast, childhood, and then I moved to France. And when I went to college in Paris, Jussieu Paris 7. So a degree in English. So at Paris 7, that's where I learned English. So that's what people are like, hey, you speak French, but you speak good English. But I'm an Anglophone in my blood too. So that's why. But yeah, and then grew up in France. I work in an import export industry for years in the Paris banlieue, and love everything in Paris. Good, but I wanted new challenge, and the way of living in France, in Europe, and in America is totally different. So that's why 10 years ago, 2015, I moved from France to the US, and I arrived in Boston. I was working in Boston for a corporate in Boston. I was working for Thermo Fisher Scientific in Boston, and as a import export specialist. And from Boston, and I moved to Dallas. And I wanted to do my own stuff, my own things, and then real estate was the thing that I've been, for years. And then I'm like, yeah, get your license, how to be able to help the community, and how I can be a resource to the people around me. And I've always loved real estate because real estate is real. So I'm like, yeah, that's how I started it. But as a person, I can define myself as a son of the kingdom first. Yes, I'm a son of the kingdom. I'm a Christian. C'est ma définition. C'est comme ça que je me définis. Et donc, yeah, that's what I can say for now. Thank you.
Okay. No, that journey, like you seem like also a very passionate person. You have your mind set on something, and you have pursued it up to this point. So we talked a lot about your subjects. So I really want to give a lot of time to that. But tell us how you got connected with the African think tank, because you were one of the early pioneers to buy into the vision of the African think tank, and the founder, Sidonie, and Sidonie Niba and her husband and the individuals who came. You were one of those core individuals. So how was your journey with the African think tank?
So before saying that, when you live in France or the Francophone culture, living in France, sometimes the culture is forget about who you are and be French. You know what I mean? That's the mentality in France. Like, hey, when you talk about where you come from, it's now the new generation of, people born in France, they are proud of where they come from. Like, for example, Algerian are very proud of Algeria. But that's how, we kind of grew up. And being French. But coming to the US, it made me understood that, you are African. And African you will stay. So me moving here helped me to embrace my Africanity, if you can say that. So seeing that kind of movement, African think tank, to put African together, how we can help the continent, I was like, wow. So in 2023, April, when Sidonie, I wanted to say thank you to Sidonie for the vision. And, she put together with her husband, Mr. Niba, as well.
Yeah.
Hello. And one of my friends, she's the photographer of African think tank. Her name is Pascal Davy. And then I think she posted something on her WhatsApp statue, and I saw it, and I had a screenshot. I'm like, you need to go. That's how in April 2023, I show up at the event. I saw it. I was like, wow. And I was telling Sidonie, listen to what I'm telling you right now. This is going to be big.
Yeah.
I was telling her, this is going to be big.
Yeah.
You will be broadcast on TV. People will call you. We will do exhibition. She was laughing. She was like, and I'm like, this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. So
Yeah.
at the beginning, the first event were like 20 or 30 people, and I
Mm-hmm.
was telling Sidoni, yes, I'm joining. You know, as I can help. I'm here to help.
Mm-hmm.
So I hosted through your leadership many African Ticting in Dallas as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I was very proud of that.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I
Yeah.
joined the movement. How we can help the community. How we can make it big. I don't know if you remember. One day I was hosting the event. I was like, one day we'll be doing in Africa. You remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it
We'll be
was done in
traveling to
Africa.
Africa. People were like, yeah. So
Yeah.
here we are. The rest is history.
No.
And I want to say thank you again for the great job you're doing, guys.
No, no, no. And I thank you for, really having, you were a lot of the MCs. You were the early MC. I know a lot of the panel discussions, you led that. Your passion and your skill set was definitely seen through that. And I could see that when I met you. And I almost went through the similar journey of seeing the African think tank through a Facebook page and going back. I think I was at the second or third meeting when
I know
the
that was
think
in
tank.
August. I saw you.
Was it
I remember.
August? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so where it is now and continues to grow and bring people together, it's definitely been. And I think one of the things that African think tank does in the leadership is they recognize individual talents and they allow people to the space to put their talents in the benefit of themselves as well as African think tank, which is then putting themselves at the service of the entire community. And then whether individuals have come and they've moved on, and so you moved on to pursue what you're doing in Arizona, but you're still part of the African think tank family, and you continue to push that. And we push, individually and as an organization, push the work of those individuals who have helped us establish and build with the think tank. So I hope you've been following and seeing a number of initiatives that continue to
Absolutely, I do.
do that. So, okay, I want to enter deeply into this subject right now because I think in our preliminary discussions, with everybody, I call, we have conversations with our guests just to kind of do a layout of what, how this is going to start. But I want to give them ample time to talk about the subject matter, which is them, their passion, their desires, and what you have done with this release of your book. It may be a small book, but it is filled with substance that is very applicable, drawn from your personal experience, but also and tied into what you have seen on the African continent. So you are the fourth, I think you're the fifth author, African author that I have had the great privilege of having an interview with. And I want more Africans, or I push us to have more Africans write in many genres. And so we're going to talk about the work you're doing now. So introduce the book that you just recently published. Talk about your company because I see the logo right there, which is the Three Keys Group.
Yes.
And I think there's a connection there. So I'm going to leave it to you to, and you can do franglais. Look, like I said, speak English when you want, French when you want, sweet, sweet, go in and out as you need. And then, hey, if you're on this call, hey, if you have questions about what he's about to talk about, just interject the questions and we will post them. So I leave you the floor, Christian.
Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. Like I said, real estate, it is something that has been on my mind, my spirit for years. And the key thing is how I can be a resource, a blessing around me, for the community in real estate, how I can help the African community and then everybody in real estate, because the way of doing real estate in Africa, in other parts of the world, in Europe, in the US is totally different.
Yeah.
Because in Africa, somebody can wake up in the morning and say, I'm a real estate agent. I sell buildings, I do this.
Yeah.
And in France, it's a little bit different, but in the US, everything is regulated. You have to get a license. You have to take an exam. You have to take the national portion of the exam and then the state portion of the exam. Why they do that? They want to eliminate bad people, and we want to make sure that people are competent to do the work. So I'm like, yeah, let me get my license. And I've been doing this for years. And the book, I was inspired. It's to be honest, glory to God. Glory to God. Because he's the one who allowed me to write it. Because why? I started a book, my first book, I started it 2021. I still haven't finished it. But this one that was released, it was done in 6 months, literally in 6 months.
Okay.
So how
So
it started, last January, I went to a real estate boot camp training for 3 days in Tempe here.
Mhm.
3 days of real estate training. And during that training, I would say the Holy Spirit, God opened my spirit like this and gave me, it revealed to me the title of the book. En français, in French, it says, Comprendre et maîtriser la gestion locative. It means understanding and mastering property management. And I was like, this can help a lot of people in Africa.
Yeah.
The way of doing real estate in Europe, in the US, they have best practices. But in Africa, people do the way they want. Things are not regulated. So this is how God put that book on my spirit. And he gave me everything. All the experience we have in the real estate, all the people we help in real estate, in all the little knowledge he gave us. I was like, why not putting this into a book so this can help people in Africa, even people from Africa living here, but we have rental properties in Africa. This can help because this is not a kind of a book. En français, c'est un livre didactique. C'est pas un roman que tu peux lire comme ça et tu lis une histoire et puis tu laisses là-bas. Non, c'est un livre qui peut t'accompagner, qui peut t'aider. Donc, ce livre-là, Comprendre et maîtriser la gestion locative, c'est pour aider tous les propriétaires qui se démerdent tous les jours, qui se débrouillent pour gérer leurs biens immobiliers. So, it's a kind of a guide. We give them tools. How, last year I was in Africa, I was in Abidjan, and I was asking a landlord, what's your property worth? He doesn't know.
Il ne savait même pas.
Non, il ne connaît pas. C'est de combien vaut ton bien immobilier? Il ne sait pas. Tu demandes à une personne, que tu sois au Mali, au Sénégal, tu demandes combien vaut ta maison. Il ne sait pas comment évaluer. Parce qu'en Afrique, il y a une spéculation crazy. Because your neighbor sold something for 80 million, you want to sell the same your property for 80 million. No, we have to compare apples to apples. In the US, we call comps, comparable. We have to compare.
Yeah, okay.
In Africa, people don't compare. You have a 2 bath. Somebody has 5 bathrooms. He sold it for 100 million, and then you want to do the same. No, we have rules. So this book is there to help. Even if you are newbies, you are a beginner, you are experienced, you are a professional in real estate, this book can help. It gives you the tools how you can manage your real estate investment or real estate property. You want to buy real estate, there are things that you need to know. Tu n'achètes pas un bien comme ça. Parce qu'un bien, c'est un investissement. C'est prévoir et prendre de l'avance. Comment faire? Donc, souvent, on achète un bien immobilier parce que, bon, il y a un coup de cœur. Oh, I love this and I buy, Si tu achètes ta maison près d'un passage de train, tu vas être emmerdé. Le train qui va passer chaque 5 heures du matin, tu ne pourras pas le revendre. Si tu achètes un bel appartement, on va dire à Abidjan, la rue Princesse, la rue des bars, et ça chante tous les jours, tu ne vas pas dormir. Donc, et puis, connaître le marché. Quel est le marché local? What's the local market? What's the trend? Those things you need to understand. And to buy a property, there are a few things you need to know. The location in real estate, we say location.
Let me interrupt there. No, that's a good point, but I want to, you said something that maybe is relevant here in the cultural mindset as well, before we get into the details.
Okay.
Is that sometimes in Africa, there's no long-term vision for life at times, because I think sometimes people are caught up in so many things. And so for example, Chad, it's hard for people to think long-term when every few years you're having a coup, right? You don't know what's happening. There's no stability. The economy goes, so why am I thinking long-term? And so that has created within that mindset that, that people buy now and take whatever advantage because of that. But that's also something cultural. So I just wanted have you noticed that maybe even in Cote d'Ivoire or different parts of Africa, a lack of long-term vision that has impeded some progress, and even in the area of real estate?
Absolument. But the good thing in real estate, we said real estate, it doesn't move.
Yeah.
The building is there. It's just change ownership. Donc, ce que je dis en immobilier, la maison ne bouge pas, elle change de propriétaire. Donc, voilà. C'est vrai qu'il y a cette instabilité-là. On a besoin de stabilité pour développer l'Afrique. Et quand on compare dans les années 70, 80, le niveau de développement de la Corée et de la Côte d'Ivoire, c'était pratiquement pareil. Mais après, look at how Ivory Coast went down in the 20s because of the crisis.
Yeah.
You can see Ivory Coast, all the people from West Africa. Ivory Coast is the country where you have a lot of foreigners. C'est le pays où il y a le plus d'étrangers. On dirait même en Afrique. Parce qu'il y a toutes les communautés en Côte d'Ivoire. Quand tu prends le Burkina, il y a au moins 5 millions de Burkinabés. Les Maliens, au moins 4-5 millions de Maliens sur la population de Côte d'Ivoire. Les Guinéens, les Sénégalais, on a grandi.
Les Tchadiens, nous sommes là.
Il n'y a pas une ville en Côte d'Ivoire où tu partiras, tu ne vas pas voir un Malien ou un Burkinabé. Ce n'est pas possible. Donc, on a toujours grandi comme ça, mais on a besoin de stabilité. Et cette stabilité-là, effectivement, impacte sur le business. Il y avait un ancien président qui disait que l'argent n'aime pas le bruit. L'argent n'aime pas la guerre, il n'aime pas les conflits. C'est que quand il y a de la stabilité, donc quand tu prends ces pays-là...
Money doesn't like instability, or money doesn't like noise, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
So
okay.
People say there is dictatorship in China or whatever in other countries, but they are stable. Look at how Chinese are working. Donc, d'une certaine manière, on a besoin de démocratie, on a besoin de stabilité. Qu'est-ce qu'il faut? Est-ce que la démocratie, c'est bien pour nous? Est-ce qu'on a besoin d'un royaume? Si on a besoin de royauté, on y va pour qu'on soit stable. Donc, si on a besoin aussi des règles, mais les règles qu'on met en place, il faut qu'on les respecte. Lorsqu'on dit, par exemple, tu as droit à 2 mandats, il faut faire tes 2 mandats, tu travailles, puis tu pars. Mais nous, en Afrique, c'est l'intérêt des personnes qui passent avant l'intérêt du peuple. Et je trouve que c'est dommage. Et ça impacte le business. Là, par exemple, concrètement, en Côte d'Ivoire, il y a le président qui va faire un 4e mandat. Donc, tout le monde a le frein en main. Tous les investisseurs sont en train de regarder. Tout le monde est stressé. Comment ça va se passer? We don't know. Donc, ce que moi je dis, j'appelle vraiment à la sagesse de nos dirigeants. Donc, nous sommes des hommes. Nous, on va passer. Mitterrand est passé, Chirac est passé, De Gaulle est passé, mais la France est restée. Mais la Côte d'Ivoire va rester. Oufou était là, Oufou est parti. Idriss Déby était là, il est parti. Le père. Donc voilà, le pays ne passe pas. Donc pensons à cette vision de comment est-ce qu'on peut stabiliser nos pays et pour qu'on puisse travailler. Parce que l'Afrique est tellement riche. We have a lot to give. We have so many things to give, but we need to be stable and work together.
Okay, that's right. Let's come back to the book. We already know what inspired you to write it. I think you talked about your visit to Cote d'Ivoire. I think it was a real estate conference. I think I saw a little bit about that. Could you talk about real estate conference, because that's kind of what also pushed you to share this book?
Thank you. Since 2022, I've been hosting real estate events. We talk faith and business. So that's an event called Business Apéro Christ. It's an event that I started in Dallas 2022. It's an event where we invite a Christian entrepreneur to share his experience, how the word of God helped him in his business. It means in his family, his routine, the choice of business partners, and we use it to inspire people, to bring awareness in the business. So that's how I started it. So when I started in Dallas, and I was doing it in Ivory Coast every summer, I'll travel to Ivory Coast to do it. That's how I was j'étais imprégné sur le terrain et de voir vraiment l'atmosphère de l'immobilier en Côte d'Ivoire et en Afrique. Donc voilà, donc cet événement-là, that event, Business Apéro, I've been doing for now, this is the fourth edition, and then this year we will be in Ouagadougou, in Burkina Faso.
Yeah,
so we want to impact and encourage. On veut encourager. Le but, c'est de réveiller, encourager et de booster l'entrepreneur qui est en nous. Parce que si le même Dieu que nous prions a fait pour moi, il peut faire aussi pour toi. Donc, le but, c'est de empower, or, I would say entrepreneurs. So we can be together and be in resource together and build Africa.
Okay.
So,
And so that will be in Burkina Faso this year. So you will be sending out information here pretty soon for individuals who are there in Burkina or anybody here in the U.S. has connections, so they can connect with you for more details.
on Burkina Faso, it's going to be on the 27th of September.
Okay, so that's coming up soon. Yes.
Yes, at Hôtel de Conférence à Ouagadougou.
Okay.
So, et le thème de cette année, it's in French. Le thème de cette année, Burkina, l'heure de profiter du business de l'immobilier. Because the president has a vision to build 50 000 logements à Ouagadougou, au Burkina. Donc, on veut accompagner ça aussi. En fonction des compétences qu'on a, on veut apporter notre pierre à l'édifice.
And so I think with the change of the president, Traoré, and what he has been doing, seems like he's really opened up the economy and the opportunity for individuals to truly invest in Burkina Faso. And I guess I was a kid when I went to Burkina Faso. I think we had a coup
you've
in
been there.
Chad. Yeah, but it was only as a child because we were fleeing Chad. So we fled. We were in Chad, southern Chad, and we went to Burkina Faso for a couple of years. My mom actually finished her degree in Burkina Faso, and I'd love to visit someday. I even have family there. So let's speak to that a little bit before we come again to the book again. Is the climate of Burkina Faso, talk to us about the climate, and is that the climate that if it's reflected in other African countries can really help with real estate and business investment?
Thank you. So, I'm like I said, I'm a spiritual person. I do things with the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So, on January and February, the Lord was telling me Burkina Faso. He was telling me Burkina Ouaga. So, usually when the Lord talk to me, I obey.
Yeah, Ouagadougou. Yeah.
C'est comme ça qu'il m'a mis dans le cœur Burkina. I don't know why, but I said yes. So, parce que we've been doing it in Ivory Coast, but this year the Lord said Burkina. Maybe next year we will do Senegal, we will go to Gabon, Congo, and have that on my list. Next year I will do an African tour. Mali, Niger, I will do that next year.
So right now you've named all the French-speaking countries. Will also be done in English as well.
So
we could do
that's
both,
a good thing because I'm gonna translate the book in English. I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll do that. Yeah. I'll definitely do that. So Burkina, with what the president is doing right now, I don't get involved in politics. I just see business because when you do business, you can impact. You can see Nigeria, Omeolu, Dangote. Now, do you know what Nigerian government is doing? The government doesn't send minister or the Secretary of State to do business. They send all those entrepreneurs to negotiate stuff for the country. And if you see in Great Britain, when the King Charles invites everybody, he invites Omeolu, he invites Dangote. He doesn't invite the government. So those are true people. Because he's an entrepreneur, he knows how to do business. That's what we want to do in Africa. So we want to impact in the business. So that being said, Traoré, for me, is doing a fantastic job, fantastic work. So I'm like, as an African, if something is happening in Chad, I'll be in Chad. No frontier, it doesn't matter for me. Poof. I go where God tells me to go and help and share. So what he's doing, I'm like, Burkina is growing. Ils ont pris conscience que on n'a pas besoin de l'extérieur. On peut vivre de nos ressources. We can live from what we produce here. And then they are doing a fantastic job in Burkina. So we have to encourage them.
Yeah.
So this is my part.
Okay.
We will be meeting with the young people over there, with young people. We will encourage the people in Burkina Faso how to do real estate, how to do business. So, the more you give, it come back to you. So that's why we pick Burkina, and then on veut ajouter notre pierre à l'édifice à tout ce qui se fait au Burkina, dont l'immobilier. Et le Burkina est en train de grandir, ils sont en train de construire. Donc, on veut aider aussi. Voilà.
Okay. All right. Launch us into the book. What are some of the key points that someone who's watching this should know as they're looking at real estate in Africa?
Okay. So, for example, you want to purchase, because avant de parler de maîtriser et comprendre la gestion locative, you to know how to buy a property. This is important, like I said before. Sometimes when you want to buy something and then you meet somebody who is selling something, a lot of like landlord of people, they have several properties. So when you put something on the market, you have plenty of time to sell it. You don't have the person is not in a rush, so you want to make profit. So that kind of transaction for you, I think it's not good for somebody who's going to buy. So you need to buy something with somebody who the property belongs to his father, to his family. So that person really want to sell. It is different than somebody who is doing it for business. He has a lot of properties and then selling. He's going to get a buyer when he get a buyer. He's not in a rush. So those things, what's the price on the market? Where the property is situated. You need to buy something you will be able to sell on the long term if you want to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things that you need to consider. And then in Africa, sometimes bank, it's difficult to borrow money from the bank. Banks, c'est difficile qu'ils accompagnent des personnes. So people do transaction with cash sometimes, most of the time. So, and that being said, here I work with other lenders who can help other people who want to, they are in Africa sometimes, they want to buy in the US, we can help them. So, vice versa. Donc, je parle de tout ça dans le livre. Qu'est-ce qu'il te faut savoir pour acheter un bien? That's the first thing. I talk about rate. Sometimes, en français, taux fixe, taux variable, les gens ne comprennent pas. Donc, I explain that in a book. Je parle aussi de la fiscalité, tout ce qui est la fiscalité foncière, the taxes, property taxes. But that's the only thing that changes because each country has its own rules in tax. So you have to reach out to tax specialists to help you. But other than that, the issue a landlord is facing in Congo, it is the same thing in Senegal. So I give you the tools how to appraise properly your property. You must be living in America and you have rental properties in Africa. This book can help you to understand. So most of the time, you can use a real estate company to take care of your business. If you don't want to do that, because when a real estate company is helping you, they take 10% of the revenue of what you're making. If you don't want to pay those 10%, you want to do it by yourself, this book is going to help you.
Okay.
Par exemple, there is that question for landlords in Africa, how to pick the best tenant. Comment choisir le bon locataire? C'est une question. Comment faire? Ils ne savent pas. Est-ce que le propriétaire, est-ce qu'il a un compas pour bien voir le bon locataire? Tu ne connais pas les gens. Donc, dans le livre, j'explique qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire pour recruter, pour prendre le bon locataire. Je parle de ça dans le livre. I talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, what are some of the challenges? Well, one is finding the right renter as well. But when you're doing international transactions, what are some of the challenges you have? If someone, let's say here, was buying property back in their home country, or someone here buying property in the US, what are some of the challenges financially they have to deal with, or regulations?
So, for example, somebody who is in Africa, because a lot of people want to invest in here, we'll talk about stability. It's important. Time you can put your property, rental property, or whatever you have in Africa, and then when there's a coup, and you have every 5 years, you need to think about a plan. Right now in Africa, people are trying to see how to go to Ghana or how to go to somewhere because of the election.
Wow.
So that's why a lot of people in Africa who have money want to invest in the US, because c'est sûr, tu as un bien à la location, c'est sûr que à la fin du mois, le premier, on te fait ton virement, on te paye. So that, beaucoup de personnes ne comprennent pas tout ça. Mais pour pouvoir emprunter, quand tu es en Afrique, you're in Africa, you want to buy here, you need 30%. The down payment is 30% of the value of the property. You have to bring on the table. Et les taux d'intérêt sont en ce moment à 6% ou 5%. Et donc ça, on peut t'aider. Si tu es en Afrique, you are in Africa, you want to buy property in the US, I can help you. We can help you with that. So that's the challenge. People are like, hey, because of course, you don't have all the cash to buy properties in the US. Even if you bring the cash, they're going to ask you, where did you get that money? Because
Exactly.
we don't do
Yeah. 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 You have to have that
so
documentation and everything. Yeah.
that's the kind of challenge, because I know some friends in Africa, they want to buy here, but like, what should I do? You can do investment property. You can open a company here, and then we can help you with the lender to get you approved, so we can buy your multifamily property here and do business.
Okay.
And then the other thing, from people from Africa living here, trying to invest or buy properties or build in Africa, from what I've seen in Europe, le pouvoir d'achat de ceux qui vivent en Europe ou en France n'ont pas beaucoup d'argent. Parce que la France, in Africa and in France, the way things are done, tu travailles du 1er, on te paye le 30 du mois. Or, aux États-Unis, chaque 2 semaines, on te paye. You get paid every 2 weeks.
Yeah. So Europe is once a month. The US is mostly twice a month, every 2 weeks.
Yes. In the US, you get the salary when you are at a certain level. Tu vois, quand tu as un certain niveau, you're a CEO, director, you can be paid one time. But en France, ce qui fait que l'argent circule difficilement pour ceux qui sont en France. On va pas se mentir. J'ai vécu en France, je sais ce que c'est. Tous les prélèvements, du 1er au 6, on te prélève tout ton argent. Le 15 déjà, tu commences à faire les calculs. So most of those people, going back to Africa to buy, sometimes they have to get a loan from the bank, and then sometimes it's not easy.
Yeah.
When they go back in Africa to see a bank, pour les accompagner, c'est pas évident également. Donc, this is the challenge. Those people in Europe, the African in Europe, trying to. I know my mom, she was being called, qu'on appelle les tontines. Elle faisait ça, elle gagne son argent, elle va construire sa maison, elle fait ça doucement. C'est comme ça. Et c'est ça le challenge. That's the challenge of the people But people in the US, ils ont un peu plus de moyens. C'est le constat que j'ai fait, hein, de ma petite expérience. Donc, quelqu'un qui est en France, qui va acheter un bien en Côte d'Ivoire ou en Afrique, il va te donner des mots de tête. Il va te poser 1000 questions. Il n'a même pas suffisamment l'argent. Mais celui qui vient des États-Unis, et la plupart même, ceux qui ont l'argent, c'est ceux qui sont en Côte d'Ivoire ou en Afrique. The people who have money is the people who are in Africa. They have the cash to buy. So that's the kind of challenge. And then the other one, the trust. The trust.
That's big.
Trust. The trust.
That is big. Yeah.
That's the pillar of my business. Yes, integrity. I'm very transparent with my customer, with my client. If I'm not able to do something, I'll tell you upfront. If I can help you, I'll help you. But I'm not gonna be like this. No, I don't do that.
Yeah.
L'intégrité, la transparence. Donc c'est ça le problème. You can trust your uncle, your brother. You send money to build. He's gonna show you somebody's house, and then you come back to see your house. You don't have any house. It's happened a lot.
No, we've heard a lot of that, right? That's been some of the situations that have really hurt us. And I like, I want maybe to expound on that, because when you said trust, it reminded me that, my brother works in business, and he has sat with people who have said, man, we want to look at Africa. We want to see what potential things we can do there. But there's an issue of trust. And these are individuals who and him being from Africa, and they know that, it's like, man, we don't know. We just, so many things are uncertain, and so many things are unsure, that, from a business standpoint, we can't do that. And also, I spoke with the organization, I think a few weeks ago, the leadership, and that's what they were, trying to find the trustworthy institutions and trustworthy people on the ground. And I was saying to them, you cannot approach Africa as you approach the US. Because sometimes our institutions are not stable enough, or do not provide the correct information. Sometimes you have to go locally. You have to talk to the neighborhood chief and bring him something. You have to talk to the aunt who's been there 30 years. You have to gather additional information outside of structures to actually implement into your overall approach. Because if it's simply just the institutions and people with degrees and whatever, they may not be trustworthy just because they have 2-3 letters behind their name, right? And I encountered that issue of trust and lack of trust in institutions in Zimbabwe that I was working for. So that really created a schism in trust. And so when you said trust is like bing, 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 that's one of the things that keeps reoccurring. So how do you approach, or how do you change, like I said, how do you change a mindset of Africans in trust, but also of those who are not Africans who want to do stuff in Africa? How do you approach that issue of trust? Yeah.
The thing is, to approach that issue, you have to work with real estate companies. You have to work with real estate companies established on the market. That's how you can be sure that you're not working with an individual at the corner of the street. No. You work with a company. And then if you have the time to have a meeting on Zoom and talk, this is how you do your background check on the company, and then you read the reviews. If the company is on the internet or the website, reviews is important. Me, in my way of doing stuff, I was the person who was not reading reviews, but it's very important, reviews. Yeah, somebody can recommend you to this person, and then, because in Ivory Coast, for example, because that's a case that I know, to buy a land, it's a headache. To buy a piece of land in Abidjan, it's a headache. You don't trust nobody. You buy a piece of land, you will find out that it belongs to 5 people, different people.
I've had that experience. Yep.
You build something, you will see somebody come in the next day, come in and destroy everything, say, hey, this belongs to me. And then you go to court days after days, and then you're going to be drained for, So the way you want to purchase a property, you need to make sure to check the paperwork. En français, on peut parler un huissier. In English, we can say title company or whatever, but un huissier, un notaire, pour vérifier les informations, parce que c'est très important. Et il faut surtout travailler avec des entreprises qui sont implantées sur le terrain. Ne pas travailler avec des individus. C'est bien de travailler avec sa famille. It's good to work with your family, but myself, I'm sorry, I prefer to do business with business people. My family is my family. I do business. I keep family ties with my family. I do business with business people. So if there is something I can sue you, I will sue you. So que tu as un recours. Donc c'est ça un peu le problème. La confiance, the trust. People don't trust anything. C'est bien aussi quand tu fais quelque chose. Don't be so far. You need to be on the field aussi. Parce que je me souviens de I prefer to say that in French, if people can understand it. C'était une citation de Napoléon qui disait que si on peut gouverner de loin, on administre que de près. If you can give orders from far and lead, but the management is on the field. To manage things, you need to be on the field. So sometimes you want to buy a property, it's an investment. Go and see where the land is situated or located or the building. It's important. You're not going to buy something on a map. No, don't do that ever. Don't do like, hey, there is a real estate promotion, a developer here. They send you beautiful pictures. You don't even know where it is located.
Yeah.
That's the thing about the trust. We need to it is something that I value a lot in my business. I think that's the core of my business. The trust and integrity. L'intégrité et la confiance. Ça, c'est important. Parce que la réputation, comme on dit, la Bible, hein, ta réputation est comme un parfum. Because everybody has a reputation.
Yeah.
Yes or no, you like it or not, everybody has a reputation. You said, oh, you know Ruben? Ruben, that guy? Oh, okay. Everybody has a reputation. So it's important that in the business you do, we Africans need to change the way of doing. L'intégrité, c'est important. Mentir juste pour faire to get a commission, lie to get a commission, it is something we don't have to on doit être correct. Et c'est comme ça qu'on va faire grandir la corruption. C'est ça qui gangrène. On doit être intègre. Et c'est comme ça. Le Burkina, on dit le pays des hommes intègres. Ils ont un nom, hein.
Okay. Oui, c'est ça. The land of the upright people. That's Burkina Faso. That's what it means. Yeah.
C'est important l'intégrité dans ton honneur, la parole donnée.
Ouais. Et c'est la même chose que Thomas Sankara, avant Touareg, qu'il a fait. Il a vraiment installé cette fondation ou cette mentalité dans ce peuple. Hein. C'était l'intégrité, l'honnêteté You know, so I
Et ce que
think.
je voulais dire, c'est important, mais il y a beaucoup de pays en Afrique où la culture, c'est bien s'habiller, faire le beau gosse, tu as ton cigare, les jolis go, c'est bien, c'est bien, mais how about tomorrow? How
Yeah.
would you build your continent? C'est
Mhm.
bien de faire la vie, d'accord? People who do it, it's good. Mais
Mhm.
je parlais avec I was talking to a lender today, and then she
Okay.
told me a lady, because she's here in the US, a lady from China came as a referral. She wanted to purchase something, and then she has on a bank account like 50K. She came like very simple, you're not gonna be driving a very ordinary car. But when she left, another African came dressed like Louis Vuitton, sorry for the brand,
Mhm.
brand new car, everything shining, and then he was looking for down payment assistant to buy a property. So
Yeah.
you understand,
Yeah. Yeah.
we need to open our mind and then invest in real estate.
Yeah.
We can enjoy life, but it is important. Qu'est-ce qu'on laisse à notre génération qui suit, nous les Africains? Qu'est-ce qu'on laisse? C'est important de construire
Yeah.
l'Afrique. C'est important d'être intègre. C'est important de consommer dans le travail. C'est important que par ton travail, c'est ton travail qui parle pour toi. Here today, you invited me because I wrote a book.
Mm.
And the book is what's the purpose of the book is helping my continent. That's my contribution.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So is the market? Let's look at it. Is the market? You know, you're right. You're based in Côte d'Ivoire, or you're based in your party company has operations in Côte d'Ivoire.
Yes, j'ai une succursale en Côte d'Ivoire et je travaille aussi avec des agences aussi un peu en Afrique. Yes.
Okay. So, but you're also looking. That's why part of going to Burkina Faso is expanding your footprint across. Right now, what I'm seeing is French-speaking Africa and West Africa, in specifically. For now, yeah, this is the start in building that whole reputation of your company locally. So, what are you finding? Like are you finding more and more Africans, and maybe if you can give a personal story, more Africans who are wanted to buy property back in their home country, and this one particularly Cote d'Ivoire, and what other? I mean, the reason is that I can say is to maybe establish themselves, have something for their future, have something for their family to go back to as they're here in the U.S. Is more and more that happening, and how are they? Could you tell a personal story of how you walked with somebody through that journey? Yeah.
So we need to understand different mindset. So there are some people who have a job, he has a living. The only thing you want a house so he can live there, he retires, and then that's it. And then, okay, that's the first category of the people. The second one is someone who doesn't want to be involved in so many stuff. He just want to invest in real estate and see his money multiply. And then there's another third one, somebody who wants to buy rental property, investment properties, land, and to do what we call speculation, and then and make money. So donc il y a différentes sortes de personnes. What's your project? What do you want to do? You want to have a house to sleep and then you're retired? It's okay. What I used to say, happiness is a choice. Donc le bonheur est un choix. Donc il y a des gens qui font ça et il y a des gens qui veulent investir. Donc ceux qui veulent investir, qui veulent acheter des land property, je les accompagne à acheter en Côte d'Ivoire parce que aussi là-bas j'ai mon équipe là-bas. For example, I have a friend living in France. No, she doesn't live in France. She was from France, but she lived here in the US and in Florida. And then she want to build a hotel.
Hotel? Wow.
Yes, in Ivory Coast. And few major cities that I don't want to say here, and at that time we have good opportunities for her to buy land. So she bought a piece of land like a few months ago.
Okay.
Près de la lagune, près de la mer, acheté, very cheap. And then she want to build a hotel in a couple of years. She's here, she's working hard. She wants to invest.
Okay.
So building a hotel, even if it's, même si c'est 10 chambres d'hôtel ou 20 chambres d'hôtel, it's a business. producing cash flow every day.
Yeah.
And that
Okay.
cash flow, you can take it and invest in other thing. And let's say in 20 years or 15 years, you don't want your hotel, you want to sell it for top dollar. So that's the kind of mindset we need to have.
Okay.
As African, you can see in every big African city, you will see Novotel, Ibis,
Yeah, Novotel.
Pullman,
Yeah. Yeah.
Radisson.
Novotel.
It's a
Yeah.
cash flow money. It's a cash flow. That's why writing the book of rental properties, it is the way to make money. Cash. Every month you have something.
Mm-hmm.
Every month you have something.
Yeah.
That's the thing we need to think about. That's the best way to make money in real estate. You can buy a land, you wait, it speculates for years, and then you sell it back. Or you build houses, you build properties, and you do rental properties. You have money every single month. Or if you do Airbnb or how we do it, meublé, that's the cash flow money you make. And then you take good care of your properties, you'll retire. So usually after 8 doors, when you have 8 doors, you are at the level money start flowing. Because when you have 1 or 2 properties, you might have kind of headache, because if you are just one tenant, it can give you a headache. Most of the time, the toilet, the whatever, the electricity, you have to run here. But when you have 8 or 7, if one has issue, the other 6 is working, or the other 7 is working. It's a lot of money. You live in Dallas. You can see complex. Where I used to live in Dallas, the complex has 500 units.
Wow.
500 units. Multiply, let's say 1,000 or 2,000 per month. Look at the money they're making every month.
Ooh.
It is crazy. We can do the same thing too. Those Europeans, when they came in Africa, they build those hotels. They make money. All the money, they send it back to Europe.
Yeah.
We African, we can invest in real estate.
Yeah. What you made a comment about, the toilet breaking and something breaking, the maintenance piece of it, because we talked a little bit about, even your book talks about that piece, that sometimes we forget the upkeep, and the role of having a strong maintenance team. And in the work that I did, for example, I worked facilities. I was part of facility teams, cleaning the bathroom, setting up the tables, vacuuming the offices. This was a church for 3 years. I did that almost, and from that perspective, people forget that these things don't set up themselves. They don't paint themselves, and the overall project of the value in the project, in the property itself. So you need to have a good maintenance team. And I've seen in Africa a lot of dilapidated buildings, because there's no care and there's no idea that these people who hold that together are very important. And that's an aspect that I think you talk about in your book. You mentioned that.
Thank you very much. I forgot about it, but thank you for pointing this out, because that's a key thing. Usually, what I've noticed in Africa, people have rental properties, and then the only thing they think about, how I can make that money, the cash flow at the end of the month. They don't think about maintenance. Maintenance is the key. Let's say you have a building of 10 units, and then there is a water leak, something you can fix quickly, and then you don't take care of that over three weeks or 1 month. It's leaking in all the building. This is going to make you spend more money than fixing it right now. In the book, I talk about it, how you can build partnership with contractors, very specific contractors that you work with. So when there is something, you have the call and then the go. You have to inspect your building every 2 or 3 months, so they can detect there is electricity, plumbing, roof stuff. People can be upfront looking, being obviously proactive in fixing stuff. I've noticed that in Africa, people wait that the roof collapse on people's head before starting doing something. It is that kind of education that I talk about in the book. How we can keep un registre, how we can record everything you do. So something happened, the government come to you and say, hey, this is the maintenance record that I have for my building and for my apartment. And then they see that. Why I'm doing this? Because that book is to educate landlords. If, let's say, a millions landlords, they know those best practice of property management, it is the tenant who is going to have a very nice living condition.
Mhm.
So if
Well,
1 million landlords know those best practices, it is a society that changes.
yeah.
Toute une
And I'm
société
gonna add,
évolue.
yeah, I'm gonna add real quickly to that because I think one of the things that we forget, I wouldn't even say here in the US, but is that when I was on the maintenance team, what happened is that experience helped me that when I was in Zambia and I knew that I got a maintenance guy, maintenance lead, and he built a team. And at our meetings, I had the maintenance guy at the meeting.
Wow.
Because what our mentality is, oh, the director de finance, the director, all these directors. But I said, the building was, where is the maintenance guy? He needs to be in this meeting. He needs to be telling me, oh, Ruben, this is happening, and in 4 months we do it, and this is the rotation of our pay. He needs to be here. And so I think what we do is we devalue positions because we don't understand the longer term. Like you said, if our buildings are sustainable and well kept, then they bring revenue, and we know we have to use a portion of that for maintenance. The guy who holds up the building needs to be talking to me first. The rest of y'all, we will fall. And I think what I loved about my time as a maintenance person was when I look in a room or when I go to the bathroom in a place or when I'm walking through the mall or walking through the airport, I'm looking for the maintenance person because I know my bathroom is clean because of them. I know
Wow.
and so you have to, as you look at things, you have to see the people behind the things because these things just don't appear out of the ether. And if you don't build in people an importance of what the work they're doing, then everything else, in my opinion, doesn't follow well. Yeah.
That's a very good point. Maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
How to maintain. Yeah. Look at in Europe, in the US, sometimes you can see the road. The road has nothing, but they change everything. You can see the building has nothing, but sometimes they change everything because it's the time to replace the stuff.
Yeah.
That's the thing we need to incorporate in our mindset in Africa. We don't wait for a bridge to collapse before fixing anything. We don't wait for the house to be bent like that to start working on it. Maintenance. And I talk about that in the book. And je parle de ça. Les réparations. Maintenant, c'est très important. People want to make money, but they don't think about how to keep this building clean, to keep the building, comme tu dis, entretenu, bien entretenu, pour que les revenus continuent toujours de tomber. C'est très important.
Et ça peut même justifier une augmentation
du loyer.
De loyer, parce que vous êtes en train de maintenir, vous êtes en train de développer, moderniser, et comme ça, tu peux maintenant exiger un peu plus.
Je parle de ça dans le livre, c'est dedans.
I don't know. So,
je donne les conseils aux propriétaires comment améliorer, rentabiliser, générer des revenus additionnels. I talk about it in the book as well.
Okay. Hey, we're getting close to the end, but yeah, no questions. But what I want people to know that they have a partner and you're a trustworthy individual that I know personally, but also with the African think tank. And if they're looking to invest in Africa, and right now, particularly Cote d'Ivoire, and you're moving to Burkina, but I think even now, if they have questions in other parts of Africa, that you are a wealth of information and connection and could be their potential partner in that. So I'm going to start giving you the last word. What is it that you want the people who'll see this later, and what do you want them to know about the real estate market in Africa, and a couple of takeaways?
What I can say, sometimes a lot of people, even in Africa, or depending where you grew up, parents, they don't tell us to say, hey, when you have a job, get a loan, buy a house, buy a land. It is something I discussed with my father. He passed away years ago, and I told him, Dad, you never told me when you get a job, you start working, buy a piece of land, start building. He said, yes, I told you that. I said, no, he never told me. So sometimes people are afraid to take a loan. In the African mentality, because you can see, tu vois les Libanais là, tu vois, ils vivent par, ils empruntent, they take loans. That's how they build the portfolio. So don't be afraid to invest in real estate. Usually we say, don't wait to buy real estate, buy real estate and wait. Real estate is the best way to leave something when you are not here on the earth. You can leave it to your children, your grandchildren. C'est ça.
Yeah.
Parce que comme je dis, la maison, elle bouge pas. Elle change de propriétaire.
Yeah.
Donc, n'ayez pas peur. The fear. Don't be fearful. Tu as les moyens de le faire, fais-le.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Si tu n'as pas les moyens, it's okay. Tu mets un plan en place pour pouvoir avoir your down payment. It's important. Rather than going dancing and looking for, build something. I'm preaching to myself too. Huh? So
yeah, and I'm hearing that preaching as well. Amen. Okay, and people can get a hold of you. Definitely buy your book.
Thank you.
I think when you repost it, I'll repost with the link to purchase your book. But we'll also contact information because hopefully people are hearing this like, man, now we have somebody that could potentially help us in Cote d'Ivoire, in Africa in general, about
and
really
in the
looking
US
at properties and in the US. So both ways, because I think you have definitely built that trust in what you're doing and in other people. And so I want people to look up Christian Sery, his website, his Facebook page, the work he's doing on the continent and here in the U.S. In the area of real estate, not only building buildings, but help people build lives that in the now and into the future. Thank you, Christian Sery. I appreciate you coming on. I already have some ideas of where we can continue this further conversation in some places. Keep up the good work, and you are still a strong member of the family of the African think tank. So we appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Christian. Talk to you later.